I am Sara, and I'm a product manager in the marketing team at Atlas Concord. And I work with Alan and Francesco, that you will meet in the next topic. And our work consists in designing new products and collections. And to do that, we study trends, fashion, natural surfaces, and even all the latest ceramic innovations. In the recent years, ceramic technology has evolved to produce even larger sizes. And we can move on, Alessandro, to the next slide. Okay, thank you. And thanks to this new ceramic technology, is possible to reproduce in large size and also in thin thicknesses all the beauty of natural materials, even those that in nature are only available in smaller sizes and higher thicknesses. The technical and functional performance of porcelain tiles combined with refined aesthetic make Atlas Concord surfaces a contemporary furnishing element for every space, indoor and also outdoor. The use of large slabs creates a visual effect of continuity, making the spaces larger and exploiting the appearance and texture of the original materials. For example, many of our marbles in large slabs have the graphic continuity of the vein between the slabs, and in this way you have the visual effect of a large slab of marble. And another possibility with marble look is the book match, which consists of a mirrored graphic that creates the beautiful decorative effect that you see in the image. The Atlas Concord range offers 6 different large sizes. The size 120 by 120 and 120 by 240 cm in 9mm thickness are ideal to cover walls and floors, even with heavy traffic. The size 120 by 278 cm and 160 by 320 cm in 6mm thickness are perfect to cover full high walls and also for paving surfaces with low traffic. And in the end, the large slabs 162 by 324 cm is available in 6, 12 and 20mm thickness, and these slabs are designed to create exclusive furnishings elements such as table and kitchen or countertop. But how we design these large sizes and a new collection in general? Everything borns from the constant research and analysis of trends carried out by the marketing division, merged with the decades of experience in the ceramic production of our R&D team. The reference research is the founding part in the development of a new collection. The masterpieces of Mother Nature are a constant source of inspiration, so we choose and personally select the most precious marbles and stone references to reproduce them on the ceramic surface with extreme attention to details. On the other hand, creativity. Can we move to the next slide? Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
On the other hand, creativity makes room in the development of creative and decorative surfaces that are born in artisanal workshop and then faithfully reproduced on the ceramic surface to recreate all the realism, materiality, and the artistic gesture of the artist. The search for a unique and exclusive surfaces had led us in recent years to create collaboration with artists, artisan, designer, and architect, such as Piero Lissoni for the Prism collection and Matteo Brioni for the collection Bust Natural. Once the natural reference has been chosen, the technological know-how of Atlas Concord made it possible to accurately reproduce all the details of the original material. In larger formats, it's very important to reproduce with extreme fidelity nuances, shades, and details. Because looked from afar, the large Atlas Concord slabs impress with their spectacular large format, and at a closer view, they are enriched with unexpected details and nuance. Now I leave the floor to Alan, who will explain how large slabs born.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Good morning, everybody. We took a short couple of slides to see how are the technical manufacturing of that made the production of large slab. Let's see before that the evolution of ceramic from small, medium format to the large slab has deeply changed the technique that allowed to obtain both tile and large slab with this new technology. We'll give you a short explanation of the main difference between the two pressing methods. The traditional pressing process of ceramic tile has remained basically more or less the same for more than 60 years. It was more or less since 1950 when the first industrial ceramic were born, obviously with the technical improving year after year. We say that this kind of press work in a discontinued way because the clay is loaded by an automatic loading inside a mold of dimension that corresponding to the size of the tile to be obtained. And by a double pressing, the tile is formed. This process is repeated by filling the mold again with clay to start forming new pieces, more or less 5, 6, 7 beats a minute at a regular press. For each size of the tile is required a specific mold, which must be installed and is installed inside the press, with consequent technical replacement time. At the end of the pressing phase, the tile continues the production cycle towards drying, their decoration, and then the final firing process. You can see the next slide, Alessandro. Okay, now we see how are made large size. In the large size plant, as you can see in the image below on the right, instead the slabs are formed without using a traditional press or mold. In this plant, a layer of clay, 2-3 centimeters of thickness, more or less, depending from the final thickness we have to reach, is loaded with a continuous powder feeder on a belt that leads the clay to a roller compacting press that allow a continuous compactation of the powder layer directly on the conveyor belt. And after the core of the pressing, the slab exits and with an advanced cutting system, without stopping the production line, at the exit of the press is possible to cut into a required format, or if we need also in a smaller sub format, for example, 60 by 60, 60 by 120, 110 to 120, always without an interruption of the production. If we want to put the slab both in horizontal and vertical side. So we decide without losing time in which size to cut the slab. So this give great advantages respect the old method of production, saving a lot of time for the change of the mold. Okay, more or less the technical process of the new slab is the main difference are these. Obviously, this new way allow us to save oil, energy, and a lot of advantages respect the old technology. Okay, for the technical aspect is all. If you want to change, okay, the slide. We are going presenting now the two new collection of we presented on spring 2022 that are both mix and Entice. But before of this tools collection, we make a focus of on Sensitech. What is Sensitech? Sensitech is a new surface, a new technology that is born this year by the technological research of Atlas Concord.
So, maar nou wil ek die blikkies so goed afhaal.
There is a Okay. Yeah, I was saying that the research of Atlas Concord is the lead at the born of Sensitech, a new surface with a technology that is patented in Italy. It gives advanced technical features with a pleasant touch. So we have a surface very pleasant to the touch with a technical anti-slip surface that gives us the R10+B. Generally, an anti-slip surface is associated with a wrinkled rough surface. In case of Sensitech, the ceramic surface is soft, pleasant to the touch, and very, very easy to clean. The result of this patent innovation is a surface safe, pleasant, and resisting to dirty. If we can change the slide, we can see what happened at microscopic level using Sensitech. If we think to enlarge the surface of a traditional tile, we would see that at microscopic level, the tile would be rather irregular and not homogeneous, with the continuous and different peak and valley, as you can see in the image above. Let's see how Sensitech works. With Sensitech technology, we go to apply a layer of microparticle with particular chemical and physical characteristics on the surface of the tile, as you can see in the image below. With Sensitech, the microparticle fill all the valley, increasing the contact point and the anti-slip performance, reducing the empty spaces that we see above in the image above, and leveling the surface profile that is so pleasant, becomes so pleasant to the touch, easy to clean, and inhospitable to dust and dirty. So much more cleanable respect to the other surface produced. So concluding, what gives us Sensitech? Sensitech gives us a pleasant touch, a patented anti-slip R10+B, so you can use in all projects, in all commercial spaces. A superior cleanability that has been certified also from our competitor, and a superior resistance to dirt, and a high durability, and a surface safe for the environment. Okay, that's all about Sensitech. Now with Francesco, we'll see the two new collection of spring 2022.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, so the first collection I'm gonna introduce you is Boost Mix. Boost Mix takes inspiration from the iconic stone called Ceppo di Gre, a symbol of Milan architecture in the 20th century. This stone has a unique graphic aspect characterized by a pebble inclusion and grains from different size and shape. The stone is extracted from a quarry near the Iseo Lake in the northern of Italy, at the bottom of the mountain of Cremo. We have the pebbles and are settled and cemented. Because of that, the look of the stone that is similar, really near to a concrete effect, the collection is it match perfectly with some other collection that we have that is contained in Boost World. So we can propose the three color of the collection, the ivory, pearl, and smoke, in a combination with some other color of the other two collection of Boost and Boost Pro. We can offer these products in a lot of range format, like 120 for 278 centimeter in 6 millimeters of thickness, and another large range in 9 millimeter from 120 to for 120 to 3060 in 9 millimeter. And then the second collection, please go ahead, Alessandro. The second collection that I'm gonna introduce you is Entice. Please go ahead, Alessandro.
I should be in Entice.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So Entice is the second connection that we have launched in March. Is would look collection. In order, it take the inspiration from the finest quality of Italian oak. We have studied in two different graphic variants in order to support the design market request of a more delicate wood, even without the notes. So because of that, we have two different versions, Entice Natural and that want to reproduce the authentic look of wood, and the other one is called the elegant version of Entice, that instead want to reproduce the polished and oiled wood flooring. The natural version the graphic of the natural version has a lot of notes, is characterized by notes, grouting, tone on tone with the plank. Instead, the graphic of the elegant one don't have any notes. Both for the version, the structures want to reproduce the planning process of timber in order to obtain the more realistic product possible. We offer 4 different color for the collection: the pale oak, copper oak, the darkest one is brown oak, and the lightest one is ash oak, as you can see in the image. The natural version has a finished surface with the sensitive technology that Alan has spoken before. Instead, the elegant version has a finishing in R9A, ultra soft to the touch, in order to remind the smoothness of the polished wooden wood. And that's all for the collection.
Okay, thank you, Francesco, and good afternoon to everybody also from me. In the next slide, we try to summarize selection of project where our big slabs, XL slabs, have been installed and used. As Sarah said at the beginning, the use of big slabs is very wide, so there are lots of destination of use. And in the project that we selected, we wanted to give and show you different also use in reality, so done in real projects. The first one is a ventilated facade. So our big slabs 120 by 278 in 6 millimeter thickness have been installed and used in this part of the facade of a new mall in Kosovo, in Europe. So a very nice portion done with the big slabs in 3 different colors. The second one is an office project in Israel. Here they really exploit the big slabs for all the possible destination of use, let's say, because they cover, they cladded both floor and walls, and as well big slab being used for the furniture, so for these countertops and reception desk. With one single color, let's say, or item, which is the marble gray stone in its all possibilities. The third project that we selected is a residential. It's a villa project in Belgium, where the big format, the big size of the boost have been used and installed both, so for a perfect continuity and a perfect matching in between indoor this living room and the outdoor terrace. So really using the 2 different anti-slip finishing, but the same sizes, which is available in the Boost collection. Another nice residential project, this one in the USA. It's completely an outdoor design, outdoor pool area with our Boost collection. Using again here the big slabs, the 120, the square 120, 120 to cover the terrace and the area around the pool with the anti-slip available in big size. This project is instead a restaurant that was delivered in Bulgaria. Here, both the floor and the wall were cladded with our big slabs of the part of the Marble Dream collection in this polished finishing. So both the floor and the walls, they have this very nice polish look. This one instead is we moved to the hospitality industry with this spa hotel in Italy called Garden Park. Here again they use being the porcelain perfect for the wet areas. Here our big slabs have been used for all the pool area, also inside with the different colors in the Boost tarmac inside the pool, and the Boost white around the pool and in the dressing room with the big slabs to have a perfect matching and also limiting the number of joints in such a big space. Last project that we wanted to present you and that we selected is this resort in Greece, Lesante Blue Resort, where the lobby and all the swim up suite have the client selected the Marvel collection for this very prestigious resort. And with this project, I end up the presentation, and also on behalf of my colleague, I thank you very much for your attention. For any question, then there is the comments area.
Only, sorry, I put a link on the chat if someone want to see a video for the logistic issue. It's only 2 minutes.
If there are no additional questions, we can you can always send them through to myself, Nicole, and then I will make sure that Alessandro and Gabriele and the team get those questions. You can also put them in the chat box and we can answer after Melanie does her presentation. But we can now hand over through to Melanie, and then I'll manage the questions in the chat box as well. Thank you, Alessandro, Gabriele, Sarah, Francesco, Alan. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole, can you see my presentation?
I can.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon, everybody. So when Italtile briefed me on this topic, about anything about big. It made my heart happy because it's given me the opportunity to present on a topic that I don't normally get the chance to present on, which is one of the trends that we don't talk about very often. So hold on a second. I just want to see that I can make this work. Okay, so I don't very often get to talk about a trend called maximalism. I more often get to talk about sort of contemporary trends and those sorts of things. But the topic of big and going big and big things and big patterns and big color and big formats really rung true with me about the trend around maximalism. And I wanted to touch on this because maximalism, or the pandemic, as we are all coming out of it or going back into it or coming out of it, nobody really knows anymore, has had such an enormous effect on the spaces that we work, live and play in and the way that we do business. And the pandemic, interestingly, has driven the trend of maximalism to be a far greater trend at the moment than it probably would have been. So maximalism started in about the 1800s and it's gone in and out of fashion, but it became increasingly popular during the big part of the pandemic, sort of 2020, 2021. And we think it was due to the limited travel options that we had available to us. So there was more interest in intermingling bold colors and accessories from foreign lands and patterns like batik and ikat, and allowing us to reminisce about our past travels or yearn for the days when we could travel again. So maximalism, as the name suggests, is the art of designing with the maximum use of color, pattern, prized showstoppers, large items, oversized items, things of enormous scale, but without descending into complete chaos. And while I'm not going to totally focus on the full trend of maximalism in this presentation, a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about that we're doing at the moment that are oversized comes directly from this trend. So the trend is about more is more and brighter is better and count on comfort and traverse time trends over the span of time. There's bursts of saturated color, there's eye-catching patterns, there's statement decor, every nook and cranny and everywhere you look. It's abundant, it's allowed, it's eclectic, and even in spaces like private spaces like our bathrooms that we normally would like to be a little bit calmer and more serene, as you can see with the picture on the screen in front of you. Interestingly enough, the year-on-year search for maximalism, the term maximalism in terms of an interior style, increased over the past year by 112%, which gives you an indication that there's a lot going on underneath the surface. So I want to touch on some of the stuff that is big at the moment. And is definitely being driven by maximalism. And one of those things is large oversized prints. So while they've always been large scaled patterns, they're starting to show up in different ways and in unexpected places. And we're starting to take more risks around using large patterns on, for example, full-scale furniture, different types of surfaces. And if you look at the image on the left-hand side for you, that is a cabinet or a cupboard, storage cupboard, and you can see the graphic pattern that's been put onto it, and we're starting to do that to a lot of our furniture. Interestingly, big pattern is starting to appear in much smaller spaces like guest bathrooms or guest washrooms, depending on the country that you're coming from. And we're making big statements in small spaces. And interestingly enough, a lot of the pattern trend is being influenced by botanicals, which you can see in the picture on the right there, or the biophilic design trend. And you'll hear me mention the biophilic design trend that's being influenced by maximalism as we go on through this. Next one up is big, bold pattern. So 2022 is the year for color and pattern. If this is your thing, now is your time. So there's always going to be a place for neutral interiors, but the prediction at the moment is for far more pattern as well as color coming to a head in 2022. And as you can see here on the screen in front of you, maximalism about more is more. So more pattern, more color, more objet, more color combinations, anything that you can fit into a space. And so while neutral colors still have their space or their place, warmth, maximalism, big patterns, colors are making their way into more and more spaces. And while all the vibrant patterns and colors emerging as part of the 2022 trends, we're seeing a lot more starting to come out on the big patterns coming out on tiles than ever before. Our technology has got a lot better. Our imagination has got a lot better. Our creativity is coming to the fore. We've been through a pandemic, and we're starting to find more and more interesting ways to use the tiles that we have available to us. So as you can see on the right-hand side, they've created a very glamorous pattern out of a very simple style. Sorry, a very simple tile. But we can still create classic spaces using pattern like the ones you can see in front of you, if this does scare you a little bit. All over color. So this is a very interesting one, and it's not for the faint at heart. And this has been coming for a good couple of years. So we've had the trends around dual colors and saturated hues. And now what we're doing is we're taking all of those trends and we're just going big on color. We're putting it on absolutely everything that we can find. So it really gives a massive punch when it's done correctly. So with this trend, what happens is it's the trim, the doors, the walls, the ceiling, everything gets a splash of generally the same color. And what's interesting, I mentioned it a couple of slides ago, is the trend around biophilic design. And biophilic design is driving the popularity of the color green. And if you have a look at these images that I'm going to show you, they're all sitting on the green blue side of the color wheel. So biophilic design is being merged with going big and bold in color at the moment. Not only limited to that, but we've got our sort of much bolder spaces, like the example on your left-hand side. And interestingly, a lot of placement of the big and bold colors coming out of maximalism, it veers towards a reinvention of more sort of your European traditional type of decor. And on the left-hand side, you can see they've combined a very classic floor, your black and white classic style, with this massive pop of color. And then, of course, something a little bit more contemporary on your right-hand side, it's still all the surfaces are covered with color, but look how they've brought some interest and big pattern onto the backsplash there. Extra large art is part of this, and it's very popular at the moment. So there's the saying, a picture says 1,000 words, whereas something like a supersized painting says so much more. So oversized art, whether it's a large canvas or a framed scene, it's a fantastic way to celebrate big, bold color and to create movement in a space. It can either unite the tones used in that space to bring the design together, or it can behave like a complete contradiction. And not only that, but the art says a lot about the personality of the owner or user of that space. So, for example, the person who likes the art installation on the right-hand side has a very different personal style to the person on the left-hand side. And that personal style correlates to that piece and also the scale of that piece. So when it comes to art at the moment, go big, go loud, proudly stamp your personal style on a space and whatever motivates you, whether it's reinforcing your current interior style or it's bringing a new intriguing dimension to your personality that you didn't know you had. Extra large mirrors. So we've got, again, with as technology improves, we're able to produce larger format glass, more stable glass, larger format mirrors, and mirrors are getting big and bold as well. So wall dominating mirrors warrant the status of artwork by themselves. If you have a look at this room here, these mirrored surfaces are not just about, they're actually doors. It's not just about storage or about a mirror. This is an art installation. So mirrors are the creators of light and the enlargers of space. Oversized mirrors are upping the ante on what more modest mirrors already offer in abundance. So for example, on your right-hand side, a round mirror lens openness, and the bigger and bolder your mirror is there, I'd hate to have to be the person to hang this one on the wall, it naturally enlarges the space and gives it a more a feeling of abundance. A more elongated or longer mirror naturally elongates a space and gives the impression of a wider room, depending on how it's hung. And something like the one on the left-hand side, which is super scaled, gives you the impression of a higher ceiling due to the fact that it's mimicking the shape of the room and it's reflecting all of that beautiful light back into the room. So there's a huge benefit to going big with these kind of reflective surfaces. So large mirrors are no longer considered ostentatious or over the top. They catch attention, they draw you into a space, they reflect natural light, and they're giving us the impression that our spaces are larger than they actually are. And I'm going to come to large spaces shortly. Extra large sculptures is part of going big as well. So decorative accents, we no longer have to have little objets on the coffee table or on the entrance hall table. It's no longer reserved for that. And we can go as big and as bold as we would like. And this is, if I had the space, I would probably own this lamp. It's one of my favorite objects. So whether it's a large Buddha or in the case of this example, I think he's a sumo wrestler. I hope that's a sumo wrestler. Or something like a strikingly slender contemporary sculpture done in a glass or a polished marble that reflects and shimmers a bit. Oversized sculptures are an untapped source of design cred. They really make a beautiful statement. The larger proportions can make its presence felt, make the space more dramatic, and it's just that little bit of unexpected drama in a space. Extra large lighting. So thinking that large chandeliers can only be used in singular is a bit of a misconception, and we're starting to get a little bit more creative around the way that we use our lights. So for example, try mixing several of the same kind of different heights of the same type of light fitting like you saw in this image here to create a sense of drama, to create a statement cluster that cascades its light. If you're looking for something a little bit less dramatic than that or less regal than that, go for something like natural glass and cluster them together. That creates a bit less of an imposing, little more of a cleaner and classic look, but you're still making a statement with your oversized lighting. So if you have the space, use the height of your ceilings to your advantage and hang oversized pendants over things like dining room tables or kitchen islands like you can see here to create that oversized scale and that sense of drama. Interestingly, one of the big trends at the moment is bigger spaces, hotel-like bathrooms, multifunctional rooms, outdoor areas, and these big concepts were specifically driven out of the pandemic. I don't have time to go through them all tonight, but what I wanted to touch on was more outdoor areas. And interestingly enough, this indoor-outdoor shower space that you can see would fall under the category of a hotel type bathroom. It's much larger and a lot more luxurious within a certain style, but it's also considered indoor-outdoor because of its access to borrowed scenery. But interestingly, around outdoor areas is the trend around outdoor areas is going bigger and better, and searches for the term garden designer have grown more than 8 times this year alone, as homeowners are looking to turn their attention to their outdoor areas and make them bigger. So more and more gardens are being seen as or outdoor areas are being seen as a relaxed extension of our living spaces, and as such being designed with larger tables to accommodate more people, larger furniture to relax in, rugs, all of the things that we would have had indoor. So the kind of outdoor living elements that people are looking to incorporate in 2022, 62% say outdoor dining, 41% say they're wanting outdoor kitchens, 39% are saying outdoor living rooms. So you can see that our outdoor spaces are getting bigger and better as we come out of the pandemic, because we've realized the benefit of being outdoors, or the need for human connection to be outdoors. And then large slabs, tiles and surfaces. So as our colleagues at Atlas Cord spoke about, you know, the technology is shifting in such fantastic ways that we are able to now do much bigger slabs, much more beautiful finishes on bigger surfaces. And this is part of the very big trend, and it actually comes out of maximalism. So, you know, from statement flowing waterfall designs, which interestingly enough, so this kitchen island has a waterfall design on it. Interestingly enough, in the last year, waterfall design kitchen islands increased by 250% in online searches. So the trend to go bigger and bigger format and using larger slabs in this kind of application is growing exponentially. So from large formats to chunkier quartz, which experienced a 417% increase in the last year. You know, the thicker the slab of 5 centimeters more, as well as eye-catching terrazzo. And I was very pleased to see that pebble look that Atlas Concord has got, because that's got a really strong terrazzo feel to it. And in that large format, I think it's going to be really popular. You know, using that in bold colorways. The worktops in our living spaces, be they indoors and outdoors, are starting to become the stars of the show. And as we start entertaining more at home and less going out because of limitations or health concerns, so we need bigger spaces to entertain, and so we need bigger kitchens, for example. And also one of the trends of this is people are moving away from tiling backsplashes, and they're looking to install a more seamless look on your backsplash, like a slab. That's also increasing hugely in popularity. So your slabs are and your large surfaces are very much part of the big trend at the moment. So stone can be used in so many different ways, such as the stone slab flooring, the countertops that I've just spoken about, the veneers on exterior siding that we saw in the previous presentation. And with the variety of colors and textures and patterns that we've seen today, there's something for everybody and for every type of space, whether it be residential or commercial. And as one of my last points, I wanted to show you this slide because these are larger format tiles placed on a wall. But I want you to have a look at the pattern within this large format tile, and it's talking very, very strongly to the biophilic trend. There's very much a greenery, a moss, an ivy, an algae type of feeling coming through in the pattern that they've created on this. And this is a very good example of how trends ebb and flow over each other and merge in and out. And so what's happening in this instance is the extremely strong trend around biophilic design patterns and fractals of nature and colors that I spoke about earlier are starting to merge with our large format slabs and tiles. And that is all I have time for this afternoon with you. I'm going to leave you with the very large and oversized rubber duck that I had to include in my presentation. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Now we have an opportunity if there's for answers for any questions. So if you have any questions, you are free to ask them now.
Where can I get the rubber duck from, Melanie? Is my question.
He's gold and he's big. I'll find them and I will send them to you.
I'm sure that in China you'll be able to find something.
I'm sure there's somebody who makes those. It's fabulous.
Ask about the cutting of the large format tiles.
Sorry, Philip, can you repeat the question?
The cutting of large format tiles?
Marius, I'm not sure if you can assist on that side, because I think that might be more on the installation side on ours, on South African side.
Yeah, you need special cutting equipment to cut the large format tiles. It depends on the size of the large format. If you go to the real big slabs, the 3.2 by 2.4s, it's more your slab type of installers that has the equipment, because in actual fact it is like your slab installers that got this equipment. But this equipment, the new equipment to cut large format tiles has been around for the last 4 or 5 years. When the technology was developed in Italy, the cutting equipment to cut the large format tiles was also developed. So there are a couple of installers in South Africa that's got the ability to install these large format tiles, and they've got the correct equipment to cut them with.
Okay.
Marius, and there's another question from Vivian, who's asked how we fix the slabs onto the walls. So again, an installation question.
Wow, that's quite a technical explanation. What they normally do is they would put them on an A-frame, and so that you can handle it easily, and you have to handle it with suction cups because it's impossible to handle it by hand. And what they do is while it's standing on the A-frame, they would butter the back of the slab, and they would also put an adhesive on the wall at the same time. And you would start at the bottom because you need some support at the bottom, and you would tile from the bottom upwards. What we would normally do is we would tile a line at the bottom, get it to set, and then go upwards from there.
Okay, Marius, I think that's it.
Thank you everybody for attending, and thank you for Atlas Concord and for Melanie for presenting this afternoon. I heard that Melanie said presenting tonight.